did this with my kids, restricted them.
Yep.
And 2 weeks ago found that it was very difficult for my daughter to, she went through a really hard time while we were there, and I think I'm learning some emotions out here.
Yeah. That's good.
And there's kind of guilt and want for her to be able to release.
Yeah.
So what is there that I can do from an example?
As a parent, you can do lots. What you need to do is actually feel the emotions within you of shame or guilt about when you've harmed your child. There is another law that we talked about last night, which was the law of repentance and mercy. In the way God's love works, and this is part of God's love, one of the laws involving God's love, is that when we go through, when we've damaged other people, and we allow ourselves then to recognise the truth of that, and then we go through a process of remorse about that, feeling sorry about that, and we direct that remorse to God, God actually reaches in and helps us pull out of us, and pulls out of us, in fact, the emotion that created the thing that we're remorseful about. So you're shutting down your daughter in such a way that caused her to feel what she's feeling. If you can allow yourself to feel the remorse you feel about that, and just allow yourself to see how much it's affected her life, and how much it's affected your relationship, and how much it's damaged, probably her relationships as well. And if you can allow yourself to see that, and feel about that, and connect to that, then while you're releasing that emotion of that towards God, God can reach in and pull out the causal reason why you did it. And that's what's called grace. You've heard of that term, grace? That's what grace really is, God's mercy. As soon as that causal emotion is out of you, what happens to her is she automatically feels a change in you. Do you follow me? Automatically. Remember, your soul instantly communicates to everyone around, whether they're aware of it or not. Your soul will automatically transmit a different feeling to her, and she will then feel enabled to deal with some emotions that she's currently shutting down because of that causal emotion inside of you. You follow me? Yeah. Yep. So if you allow that process to occur, then what happens is it will automatically change her as well. And there's been, last night there was some ladies there, weren't there, who described how they'd actually worked through some causal emotion, and all of a sudden their 4 children just changed toward them. Right? And that is something that happens.
So that's something we could do with the counsellors or the people with the road, for instance.
Exactly. The same goes with our causal emotion. We change the causal emotion about how we're feeling about all of that, which will all be related to childhood events or whatever. What will happen automatically is the people around us will adjust to suit us. Now, can I give you another illustration? This is some of the power of the soul that we have unrealised within us, right? I was driving along towards... There's a few things I needed to get done at home, right? One of them is that I've got these 2 eco tents, they call, getting built at home, but I've got no way to build them, and I'm not a builder. And also, I haven't got any time to build them because I'm out travelling all the time doing this kind of thing. And also, we were travelling to, myself and my son were travelling to another location to do a talk like this with about 100 people there. And while we were going there, I needed to pick up some CDs from one place, I needed to drop off some plans to another person, and I needed to wash my car. That was the things that I wanted to do as I was driving. And all I did was have that thought. And it was all attached to feelings. I just wanted it to go as smoothly as possible as the feeling. What happened was I rocked up at a town where we were going to wash the car, and the man who wanted the plans wanted to meet me. I didn't say anything to him. He met me at the car wash. Right? And he gave me the DVDs and CDs that I needed because he'd picked them up from somebody else. And also, he happened to be the same guy who decided to offer all of his time for 2 weeks to build my eco tents. So he's a builder, and he had 2 weeks off work, and he said, "I'll build your tents for you." Right? And that all just happened in one interaction, just from longings of the soul.
So I can do this within seconds.
Yeah, yeah. the key with a lot of our emotion is obviously because we've locked down a lot of stuff, it's not often seconds that we can actually feel the emotion. But seconds after we've felt the emotion, things will change. That always happens.
Thank you.
And sometimes it's a few days later or something like that. I've had another thing where, and I had some soulmate emotions to work through, and my soulmate didn't want to. We met up, spent some time together, and then she didn't want to spend any more time with me. And so I was really, there were feelings of rejection and lots of other emotions came up, right? So what I did was, for a period of nearly 9 weeks, it was about 8 weeks. I cried for nearly 5 hours a day for 8 weeks. It took me that long to get through all of the causal emotions about it. When I felt the last one leave me, 3 days later she called me and she wanted to catch up again. So I didn't talk about it with her and force her to catch up with me or anything like that. Just dealing with the emotions within me caused that different attraction.
From what you said earlier, AJ, by us dealing with our own emotions that have probably come from our parents, we're going to help our own children?
Automatically, yes. Yeah, so what happens is that there are some laws involved with parent-child relationships. One of them is, if the parent releases an emotion that they have within themselves, the child, if they have a similar emotion or damage from that emotion, automatically goes through a process of release without them even sometimes being consciously aware of it. And so you'll actually have even adult children changing towards you as a result of you dealing with the emotion that you feel about the issue.